Alright, so the last couple days I've been having a pretty hardcore idling issue. I'm pretty sure it's not the fast cell thermal valve. That's been taken off and cleaned like 3 times. Everything was working fine up until a couple days ago. I don't have any vacuum leaks in any of my hoses. I've checked all of them. I thought maybe fuel pressure. No. I've been checked the distributor cap, all the stuff, plugs, everything looks fine. I was looking online and I was reading about an exhaust leak in the manifold, and as I looked I see a bunch of carbon right there, so obviously I have a leak right there. This is the D16Z6, of which I still have the exhaust manifold and downpipe for, so depending, I'm going to take this off, see what this looks like. Depending on that, I might swap this whole thing out and go from there. Alright, so upon pulling this guy off, I just loosened this, brought it down, ripped this back a little bit, and I don't think you can see it very well, but there is indeed a hairline crack. You can kind of see it. It starts all the way over here and wraps all the way down to there. And yeah, these are just this on here is just a cheap, I think it was like 98 bucks for the full downpipe system, so it's nothing expensive. I mean, it's lasted me 3 years. I can't believe it has lasted 3 years, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and take this guy off, put the OEM one from this one off the 95 Civic, the actual D16Z6 headers and downpipe, which, like I said, I have sitting over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and get that on, or lift up the car and go ahead and get this guy off. Try to fit the other one, make sure it fits. There's a nice little close-up view of it. Oh man, this Samsung S10 has an awesome camera on it. Yeah, you can see definitely a little bit of a little stretch fracture there. So yeah, that's that. So there is the inside. You can see that is the crack. It's kind of hard to focus, especially if I don't have light on it. That's the one. Definitely a crack. As you'll notice here, there's a lot of carbon buildup. Like a lot. I'm looking in here. I can see that's my number 1. Number 2. You can see in there is quite a bit. 3. Wow. And 4. It's easier to see with my own eyes as opposed to this camera, but God dang. So I'm going to figure that out. So I'll get back. Alright, so I thought I had the exhaust manifold part for this guy. Turns out I do not. All I have is the down part. Upon reviewing some of my older videos, which is the whole point of this YouTube channel, I realized that I put this one on the old car. The one from the D16Z6 is on the old car, and the one from the D16Y8 is on the other old car. And so, yeah, I'm left with the same old one that I have. So what I'm going to do is, in order to get this guy fixed, since my car is up, I had to take a bus to the auto parts store and went and got some of this guy. So I'm going to be giving this a shot. While I'm doing this, I'm also going to try and do a review video, because why not? All the ones I saw instruction wise were just crap, and all the comments said they were crap, and I completely agreed with all of the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and get working on this guy. Yeah. Alright, so I got it nice cleaned off. You can definitely see the crack. A lot better now. It does end right there. Goes around and about to like right there in the middle. So it's about here to there. It's very thin, and on the box itself it says that if it's thin, then blah, 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 blah. I should use a repairs open small cracks further with a drill or screwdriver to create a 1/8 inch gap. I'm not gonna do that, but what I am gonna do, I'm gonna take a file here and pick one of these guys, probably this dude, and just file it down a little bit, make that crack a little more visible, a little thicker, something else for it to hold, for the bond to hold on to. Alright, so I filed it down a little bit, didn't really seem to do anything. I tried to get in the cracks as best I could, but we'll see. So what I'm going to do now is heat it up with a heat gun and try and get it to expand as much as possible. While I'm letting the heat gun sit, I'm going to mix this stuff. Alright, so I've got the heat gun just pointed directly at the thing sitting on the concrete floor. I'm going to crank it up a little bit. It's getting hot, getting nice and hot. It's not red hot, that's the inside coil. It's just nice and shiny because it's getting all nice and shiny. But while that's heating up still, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing this guy with my trusty contractor pencil from the shittiest store in the world. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up, clean this off first, and then going to try and apply some, I guess. Alright, so as per the instructions here on the back, and some of the comments I read on some of the other JB Weld YouTube, I got it all cleaned up, brushed off, filed down. I got it in front of a heat gun to heat it up to try and expand that crack as much as possible. That's been on it for about 5 minutes now. I've been mixing this up for about 3 minutes. It's got a real nice cement-like, it's still pliable, but you can definitely tell when it's starting to mix better than it isn't. It's less grainy and a lot easier to use. But so yeah, I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes for it to heat up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. All right, so I had it nice and hot. Put it on, got it on there. I believe it to be pretty good. Yeah, the second I put it on there, it almost turned to stone. The heat of the exhaust from warming it up definitely activated it almost instantly. So I put a bunch of big gobs on there, took a razor blade and started flattening it out, and it's workable, and it wasn't too hot to do. So I basically just worked it in, add some more, worked it in, used the razor blade to not only just trim it a little bit, sorry, one second, to not only just trim it a little bit like around there, but I also used it as like rolling, and there was a bunch of air bubbles and stuff in there, so I made sure to get all those out, push it down really hard. It's only been about maybe 3 minutes since I stopped working it, and it's already pretty darn hard. See, I got a bunch off here. This is kind of where it's at. It's still mildly pliable. Sorry, my camera doesn't want to focus. But, I mean, you can, it's like a hard paste. It's not like just disintegrating, but it's definitely, it's not hard yet, but, so, yeah, that's where that is. See what it's like in a little bit here. Alright, so I went ahead and threw a little on there too. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. I tried to get it as smooth as possible, but there's some big former welding chunks on there from whoever was a total idiot when it came to this. Just looking at it, I'm like, ugh. I could do a better job welding on a muffler, having never welded on a muffler. I know I could, but that's not the point. Point is, yeah, got some exhaust leaks taken care of. Still waiting on this guy to dry. I guess that leaves us where it leaves us. I'm gonna try and do some other stuff, see what I can figure out to do while I got the car up here. Alright, so it's been sitting for about 15 minutes. I was doing some other stuff. I actually repaired a small hole in the back of the muffler with this since I had it out. It's getting pretty hard already after 15 minutes, but it's still, you can feel that it's pliable. So, just ripping this stuff off, I can see that it's not. On the back of the package here, it actually says to speed curing time, use a hair dryer to speed cure time 24 hours before applying high heat exposure, which will be sometime tomorrow when I go to work at like 6:30 in the morning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this guy on low, put it all the way down on 1, and pretend it's a hair dryer, and just kind of throw it at it like that. Super low heat, just kind of let it hit in the center and then wrap around the edge there. Trying to get some of the moisture out of it, I reckon, is what we're trying for here. Yeah, if it appears slightly soft, use non-flammable heat source. I don't know what non-flammable heat source is other than the hair dryer, but hair dryers are flammable. That just feels like a little low, so I'm going to crank it up to 2, crank it all the way up to number 2, and let it sit for a while. Alright, so this guy is back in. I'm gonna wait for this little dude to hurry up and dry. By hurry up, I mean overnight. And I guess I'm gonna have to see tomorrow how it holds up against everything. Some other things I did, I pulled off the cover and replaced the under seals. The spark plug tube seals. The first time I put them in, I did it wrong, and I swore I'd come back and do it again, so I did it again. While I was there, I checked the head bolts. They're all torqued correctly still, same with the rocker arm bolts. I tried to do a valve stem adjustment and got really confused, so I just gave up before I even started. It wasn't that I was confused, it was that the upper lobe was off from the thing, so the timing. So, better off just leave it alone for a little bit. I'll come back to that some other time. Right now I just wanted to get that done, so I took care of that while I was down here. I'd been meaning to put on the guard, the flywheel guard, so I did that. Basically just put this guy back on, clean it up a little bit down here. I got rid of some of the oil from when I left my oil cap off and drove, I don't know, 20-30 miles around town up some pretty hardcore hills and whatnot, and just splattering. Still got oil coming out of all these holes up here. It's all just splatter from when I was washing the car over and over again. But yeah, this is the main point right there. We'll see if that was causing my idle issues and how well it wants to stay. It's already kind of cracking and whatnot. So, well, that's lovely. I love how my camera won't focus on the one thing that's directly the fuck in front of it. Anyways, yeah, so that's what I've done today. Yeah, it's about it. I guess I'll finish this video tomorrow, I reckon.